Merhaba arkadaşlar. Daha sonra kıyafetini alacağız. Sonra belgemizi alacağız. Vay vay vay. Neler. Oyun müthiş olmuş ya. Sanki gerçekte çalışıyormuşuz gibi. Baksana. C'ye bir gidelim önce. Gel oğlum. Kara oğlum. Burada da kara kız diyelim.
Easy, good horse.
Belgemizi alalım.
Piety and virtue, especially in these times.
All from the finest left.
Flatbread.
Twice greased fresh.
Apple bowl as well. Sound as a bell.
What do you want, you beggar?
Nedir öncesi?
I hear one Franta cooldown is supposed to come and pick up new clothes from you.
Aye, the finest. I spent the best part of 2 weeks working on them, and damn near left my fingers on them as buttons. But it was worth it. With clothes like that, he wouldn't be ashamed to stand before the king himself.
As it happens, you hit the nail on the head. Would you sell those clothes to me?
For a start, I doubt they'd suit you. And besides, how would it look if I sold ordered goods to some stranger off the street?
Ah, don't worry. I'll make it worth your while.
Well, that's a nice sum. I reckon it'll even compensate me for the trouble I'll have with this. I suppose I can tell Franta I made a mistake and quickly start all over again.
Güzel. Garson kıyafetlerimi de aldım. Şunu bir tamir edelim.
This could use some repairs.
Master Taylor, have you got those clothes?
Tamamdır abi şimdi.
Well,
Şimdi nerede o? Bir bakalım. Ha, belge alacağız şimdi. Neredeymiş lan o? Ha, bana gösteriyor.
What? Are you telling me you didn't get the job done? I paid you so much up front. You could buy a car.
all quality wares.
Buy 2 pop.
Aslında bir yerden.
Have a ball as well. Sound as a bell.
Christ be praised.
Greetings to you, friend.
Come and take your pick. New wares.
Look out!
Very ostentatious, but it should be all right. Naturally, I'll return the difference in price.
Linen canvas. The softest linen canvas. Come and buy the finest canvas.
Son belgesini nerede satılıyor? Ne bir şey yoksa. Aha.
What do you want, lad?
Bu adamı bulacakmışız.
You must be Franta Cooldown.
I am. And who might you be?
I'm Henry. I heard you're supposed to serve at the City Council Assembly.
I am. What's it to you?
Supposing I took the job on for you. You can put your feet up, fill your belly, and I'll do all the work for you.
Look here. It's not like I'm all that keen on it, but it's well paid.
Para
Apart from
verelim
that,
sana.
it's a bit of a pain in the arse. Them councillors stuffing their faces and guzzling wine, while I run around like a bugger with pitchers so they don't run dry. Why would you want to stick your nose in there?
Let me put it another way. How much do you want for your place?
Finally, some sensible talk.
Şöyle çok
But
güzel.
it won't come cheap. When I count it
Olsun,
all
sen
up,
söyle.
new clothes, wages, a backhander to get in there at all, not to mention the coin I'd make in other places if I could say I served the King of Hungary.
All right, here you are, you daylight robber.
To begin with, you'll need confirmation that you've worked as a waiter at the council and you're capable of serving even His Majesty. Look here. Do you have any idea what's expected of you? Can you tell different wines apart and that?
Well, to tell the truth, I'm not exactly an expert.
You're off to a great start, but whatever. If you make a mess of it and the king has you whipped, you've no one to blame but yourself. Show the confirmation to the head butler. Tell him I sent you and think up some good excuse. Clear?
That makes sense.
And you'll need a waiter's livery. I had a brand new one made. And that idiot Schneider let it get stolen right from under his nose. It ain't my problem no more, so sort it out somehow.
Olsan
Thanks.
gereken yardımı yaptı.
I
Sağ ol
won't
yani.
disgrace you, I promise.
You better not. Farewell, you yokel.
Şimdi neymiş? Görev yerine git. Dur.
Franta Cooldown sent me. I'm to stand in for him at the council assembly.
Franta's not coming? What's wrong with him?
He got poisoned. Probably from food. He's writhing in agony. By turns praying and cursing, spewing from both ends.
Oh, that's enough.
Ha,
All
güzel.
right. At least you're here.
Ne müthiş
Can't be
bölümle
without a
başlıyoruz.
waiter here when the king himself will need waiting on. So, let's have a look at you. Have you got Franta's certificate?
Sure. There is.
Everything's in order. Now, about your livery. You've got a waiter's cap, a tunic
Aynen
you
öyle.
have. Hose are good. You can put your steel aside in front of the council chamber, along with your other stuff. You won't be needing it anyway. You don't want to be dragging a load if you're running around tables. Everything as it should be. Glad to see it, lad. Do you know
Güzel.
what your duties are? For an inexperienced greenhorn like you, it'll be a great responsibility.
Well, I'll happily listen to any advice. I wouldn't want to foul things up.
I should certainly hope not. Now listen. A good waiter should stand in a corner, look willing and ready,
Gerçek
and
hayattaki
not
gibi.
get in anyone's way. In short, behave as if you're not there. But when one of the gentlemen calls for wine, you run and pour it for him on the double. You'll find the pitchers on a table by the door to the chapel. You take one and go to their table and pour for them. White Takib or red monastery wine.
White or red, by the door to the chapel. Got it.
But for Councillor Adam of Zarzhitz, you must not pour at all. When he drinks, he disrupts and makes trouble. So the assembly has to be interrupted, or otherwise it never reaches an end. We can't allow that to happen in the presence of the king.
All right. Sir Adam of Zarzhit stays dry.
And if the king himself wants wine, you pour for him with lowered eyes. Don't look at him.
Ya de-
And the most
detaylı
important
şeyler
thing,
var ha. Bu iş yapmamız lazım.
Remember who wants what?
That too, but more importantly, do not disturb the councillors at their work. They have a lot to discuss. And in general, a good waiter has to be invisible, blind, and deaf.
Oh? I thought I had to keep my ears pricked.
Well, yes, but only to what anyone wants from you. No excuses, and provide everything that anyone wants from you. Understood?
Absolutely. I'm a waiter, after all. Not some street gossip monger.
Correct. And if you manage not to botch it up, you can even rise on the social ladder. Not just anyone can serve the King of Hungary, but you'll manage it, right?
I know everything I need to. I can do it.
Excellent. Put away your things here. It's easier to serve with a lighter load. You can wait in the cubbyhole for the servants.
Ben başıyoruz işe. İyi bari.
The city reserves are in urgent need of new weapons. Unverzüglich. Our current Waffenarsenal.
Ne görevleri bir bakalım bakalım.
Is a joke, and on top of that, the army was requisitioning from it. Should the town reserve have worse weapons than any Räuber in the domain?
A cup of red.
What are you getting
Don't you skip
Eldris?
I'm saying that the bandits who freed Hinnick, the Dry Devil, used that thing. That Hackenbücher. Hand cannon. Can you believe
Come
it?
now,
I
waiter.
apologise, sir.
I
Where
wanted
did
red.
they get them?
Which wine?
Red.
You're the one who should
Am I
know where they
speaking
got
Latin?
them. Since you're a gunsmith.
What are you implying, Friedrich? All I'm saying is that they had them, Herrgott. It is eine Schande when outlaws have better weapons than the city garrison. And Herr König surely knows this too.
Come now, waiter. I wanted
You
red.
smell a deal?
What I smell is that
Thank
your
you.
stupid
Afiyet olsun
heads
efendim.
do not realize what Schwierigkeiten this
Vay
is.
anam vay.
The Dry Devil is running free. There are Raubritter everywhere in the region. We have
Ne
the
diyorsun abla be,
army
acemiyiz,
bearing
Allah
down,
Allah.
and you want to defend yourselves with a few rusty
Hey,
halberds.
waiter.
And who is
Pour
it
me
you want
some
to
monastery
fight?
wine.
Exactly. The merciful King Sigismund is providing
I
us with
apologise, sir.
protection. Isn't
Which
it?
wine?
Red
Der
and
König
quickly.
and his army will not be here forever.
Shut up! The king can arrive at any moment. What if he heard you?
Sir?
What then? We're sitting atop the biggest
Well,
silver heap
thank
in the
the
kingdom,
Lord.
and we're supposed to defend it with brooms?
You're right, Eldris. But where can we get the
Yusuf
coin
ya
for better
dedi.
equipment?
We can always confiscate
Bir adama
the
vermedi,
property
onu
of the
inşallah
king's
karıştırmam ya.
enemies. Nicht wahr?
We are more than familiar with the jämmerlich state of our armory.
Hey, waiter,
King
pour me
is
some
surely
monastery
aware of it
wine.
as well. Maybe
apologise,
if he
sir.
waived some of the
Which wine?
taxes.
The king fears that this
red.
town will rise against him. He'll take the arming of the city's militia as a preparation for war.
So you suggest we just wait with arms crossed for the Raubritter to wreak havoc
Sir?
all around?
We can always ask the king to bring order to
Well,
the realm with his
thank the
army.
Lord.
But then the Dörfler will rise up.
I'm afraid I see no solution of the current situation.
Buyurun efendim, afiyet
Shall
olsun.
wait and see what His Majesty thinks about the matter. Maybe we can change his mind. Vielleicht.
I'd like to report to the Honourable Council on the cleanliness of the city and the state of the public baths.
Hey,
You mean
youngster,
baths or
some
brothels?
red.
I apologise, sir.
Isn't it the
Which
same
wine?
thing?
Monastery red.
So the cleanliness
Adem
of the
gittim be
city
abi.
is not what it should be. The current baths in the city
Sir?
fall far short of covering all the citizens' needs.
Fazla içme bak ha, altına yaparsın.
But a woman named
Güldü
Betty
bak.
has showed up on Hopbrink and wants to repair the baths that used to be there.
She's a protege of Maresh.
Hey, wait.
Her efforts are commendable, but I don't think she will succeed.
Is everything
Takes
all
a
right?
firm hand,
But
not
there's nothing
soft,
that you
feminine
want.
fingers.
Come
A
closer.
moment ago, you were complaining there weren't enough baths. Shouldn't we support her?
Something like this is better handled by trustworthy people, like my friend, bathhouse proprietor Adam. The need for cleanliness and citizens' health should not be underestimated.
Nor overestimated. If someone needs
Or just
to walk,
forget it,
there's
you
a river
grown-up
just
boy.
a few steps from the city walls.
Certainly. And they can get leeches there for free as well. And while he's there,
İyi var,
men
vazgeç.
shave
boy,
and take
a full cup of monastery wine.
I apologize,
So what?
sir.
Going to
Which
the
one?
baths is neither a
Monastery
civic
red.
duty nor a right.
Have you forgotten the Black Death? A great many people died needlessly.
Are you questioning God's plan? The Black Death had nothing to do with the baths.
sir.
Unless the Lord wishes to punish the wickedness that's going on in there.
Keeping the city
Ne?
clean is
Şimdi getirdik ya, daha ne istiyor?
but we don't have money.
Bu adam ayıp oldu ha.
Arguing about
Hangisi
who is
kral
going to
bilmiyorum
wash
ama
where
şu
and
olabilir
how
belki.
is a waste of time.
It's only a waste of time because we're always
My
arguing
cup is-
about the
I
same
apologize,
thing.
sir.
Not at all.
Pour me some.
If you finally
colourblind.
admit that it's a trifle,
White.
we wouldn't have to keep coming back to it.
A trifle. Do you ever walk the streets here? Sewage, rats, slop, and rubbish. The least we can do for the citizens is
sir.
to provide them with a place to wash up.
What nonsense.
Thanks.
Next,
Sen de
you
sağ ol.
want me to serve
Biraz
wine
düzgün
to
çağır
everyone
adamı.
for free, too.
Why not? In Jerome Nas's earthly paradise, everything would be free.
Don't put words in my mouth.
Gentlemen, let's agree to disagree. What if the king heard us?
I got word that Rutard has pulled off another deed.
That's nothing unusual. That old weasel will never accept that the city isn't run his way, at least until His Majesty honors us with his visit. And as we know, Gunslin absolutely
waiter,
hates
pour me
him.
some
He
monastery
can hate all he
wine.
wants, as long as he
Which
does no
one?
damage.
Red, and
Ulrich,
quickly.
what have you got to say about it?
Me? Well, I'm not sure what you're implying.
Horseshit!
Yaratan
You know full well. Everybody knows. He wiped the floor with you.
Compose yourself, Adam, and stop drinking. The king might come any time now.
Monastery
That's
wine.
right.
Here.
Let's not burden the anointed monarch with such...
Me?
Well, thank the Lord.
Compose myself. Me?
Yazılan da göremedik ki.
I beg your pardon. I
Yıldız kokacağım ama.
demand that you...
Ruhe! Franz, please continue.
I'm speaking
boy,
about the Rutard
full cup of
incident.
monastery
You
wine,
were
sir.
there, weren't you?
Which wine?
That.
Red. And
Just a
quickly.
small
Değil mi?
misunderstanding.
Hep kırmızı
We've
içiyorlar.
sorted it out and everything's settled.
My ears must be deceiving me. Are you defending Rutard? Besides, if his men attacked yours,
sir.
as I've heard, then we have a good reason to punish him.
Thank
What
you,
happened
waiter.
there?
Ya
Leave
derim.
nothing out?
Sen
I
efendisi
don't
bak.
like Rutard,
Kibarsın
true,
yani.
but in this case it
I could go for
really
something
was
to eat
nothing.
now.
Everyone in the city gossiped about
Oğlum ne
it.
yemesi?
Lad,
I
cup of
heard there were
red.
several dead.
And don't you
Did
skimp
you?
on me.
I apologize,
That's
sir.
grossly exaggerated.
Which one?
I don't think
Monastery
Rutard would
red.
cause any trouble. He is sensible enough not to draw attention to himself while the king is here.
That's true. Because if we don't do something about him, the king himself will put an end to
Sir?
him, and soon.
Unless he puts an end to us first.
Well, thank the Lord.
God knows what he wants to tell us.
If nothing happened,
Biz bile
there's no
yani
point in dwelling on it.
Dükün
Let's move on.
canım müşterisi çekiyor. Müşteri meyvesi var ya. Adamlar ne güzel yapmış oyunu ya. Harbiden müthiş yapmış. Bitti mi hocam
Things have got
toplantı?
out of order in the town. Some adventurers decided to take the law into their own
Bir patlamaz,
hands and restore
atlasak
the
atlamazsak da
tradition of
önemli değil.
duels.
Biz görev
It's
için
not only
buradayız.
barbaric, but also illegal. If we tolerate this, the
Hey,
rabble
boy,
in the city
a
will
full
go
cup
wild
of
and do whatever
monastery
they
wine.
want.
I apologize,
I
sir.
suspect the
Which
gentleman
one?
from the
Red,
city sword
and
fighting
quickly.
school brought this
Tamam abim
custom
getirdim
to us.
hemen. Al.
That German Menhard is just hanging around the market looking for trouble.
Don't be
Sir?
ridiculous, Forsucker. You act like you've never been in a fight
hang
yourself.
around me.
And to
Vanish, you hear me?
accuse a swordsmaster without a shred of
Ha
proof.
babak bu. Heh.
We're not some old fishwives in the marketplace.
Hey,
So you will just leave it be?
Proven offences are punished by the bailiff.
Everything in
And
order?
that's that.
not quite.
There are
But I
more
think you might
pressing
be able
matters
to
to
help
deal
me.
with.
Come here.
More pressing than the open contempt of the whole town garrison. The guards are apparently settling accounts their own way. We'll soon be the laughing stock of the whole town.
You can rest assured the whole town is already laughing at us all day long. So what if they have one more reason?
My words exactly. The town council is squabbling constantly at the Emperor Charles, and no one is left unscathed.
And you, a councillor, let people throw dirt on our work?
If I threw out everyone who complains over a beer, I'd soon be out of customers.
Ah, to hell with it. We'll never get anywhere like this. Why waste our time?
What can I help you with, sir?
I left my gloves in the chapel. I took them off to pray, but then I rushed here and forgot to take them. I can't just get up and walk out now, but if you disappear for a little while...
All right. I'll get them.
I knew I could count on you. While you're at it, count how many figures on the mural have wings.
But... why?
Because I'm bored. And because I told you. Get on with it.
That was easy enough. And he wanted me to count the winged figures. I need something to eat.
So, let's see what you've got for me.
I found your gloves, sir.
Really? Let's see them. And did you count those winged figures?
I counted 24, sir.
And you counted correct.
Aha, salladım. Güzel.
Here you are, so you can have a bit of fun in the evening too, eh?
Yes, the eternal dispute over the cathedrals.
Tutturduk ha, orayı bir salladı.
Is dragging on, and in the meantime, they are calling diocesan pilgrimages to settlers. Right under our noses.
You there, lad!
It's just a village
cup
with a
of bread.
monastery.
Apologize, sir.
And they are going to mock a royal mining city. Why can't we build faster?
Hemen geldim abi.
Craftsmen start
Hemen
with
geldim.
shifts.
Because those so-called craftsmen are a band
Sir?
of parasites.
Hancıymış zaten iyi.
They come late or report sick.
Neyle şükür hemen getirdim ya ondan da.
Their work is shit and you have to pay someone else to put it right. It's a waste of time.
Çok güzel benim ya.
A waste of time.
Hey boy,
Adam,
full cup
don't
of
interrupt
monastery wine.
proceedings with your
Which
drunken
wine?
ranting.
Monastery
If you are.
red.
Bekle bekle. Hemen geldim abi.
Haven't you noticed there's a war going on? Are the experts from far off supposed to work the city under siege?
Besides, I get
Good.
the feeling there's
Now run
something
along.
other than the
Teşekkürler.
welfare of the city behind your complaints.
Oh, you do? Do you? And what would that be?
Like, for instance, that you'd like to have your own altar there?
So what if I would?
Hold your horses, gentlemen. That space in the side nave
Bu
is
ne zaman
mine.
bitecek toplantı?
The hell freezes
You
over,
there,
my friend.
lad.
Your
cup of
place
bread.
is at least
And
two
don't you
steps
skip
behind
Which
mine.
wine?
A
Red.
swordsmith dares to insult me?
Onu şimdi söyledim.
Not.
Excuse me. You wanted
Sir?
to buy yourself an altar in the cathedral. Just like you bought yourself
Thank you,
a seat in
Rita.
this council.
Ha, aferin
How
şöyle adam
dare
ol.
you? I acquired my seat for the services our
Millet
guild
lütfen bunu. Kırmızı
provided
çok
and
içiyorlar.
still provides to the crown.
Well, I hope you're not supplying equipment to the army. If that's all they have, they would be defeated by that bunch of ne'er-do-wells from the alehouse on Hopbrink.
What ne'er-do-wells?
Those wrestlers of theirs, of course. People from the whole town go to watch them brawl.
Oh, this is news to me.
Because it has all been sorted out. Not long ago, the guards raided and threw them all out.
Ah, yes, I had forgotten. What do we have to discuss next?
Güzel, bitti sonunda toplantı. Asıl biz de meselemize geleceğiz şimdi.
I'm telling you, something is being planned.
Oh, I doubt it. No one's gonna tackle Root hard.
Oldu. Oo, ne oluyor lan? Güzel oldu ha. Bundan o. He, kralları bu muymuş? Hadi, o da burada. Hadi buyur. Romanla mısın hocam sen? Hayırdır? Aha, bizi çağırıyor. Doldur diyor. Bizi gördüler ha. Kesin yakalandık. Müslüman da orada. Adı mı acaba? Ne yaptı ya? Yo.
You have nothing to fear. Not you.
Allah Allah. Tanımadı bizi. İlginç. Yüzümüzden de tanımadı.
Like this plan of false!
İyi davrandı. Eyvallah kralım. O güzel bölüm. Harbi çok güzel bölümdü ha. Ne oluyor? Gidiyordu mu? Aa, Rastik de burada. Buraya mi döndük? Ne oldu acaba? Caponu da burada. Rastik biliyorsunuz artık bizim üvey babamız. Rahip de burada.
Come now, father. Put a little life into your dying. Seen more cheerful priests at funerals.
I'd rather be at
Adamı
one than
mı
here.
kontrol edeceğiz artık?
I hoped I'd never see this fortress again in my life.
Unpleasant memories?
You have no idea. I didn't part ways with my father on entirely good terms. 20 years ago.
And now you're 2 decades older and wiser. At your Ujit's parish, you spread the word of God to your flock, and you saved my neck and Henry's too. I'd say your father should be proud of you.
None of that matters a damn to him.
Who knows? Maybe that 20 years has changed a thing or two.
You know what? Let's drop the subject. What do you plan to do now you're a free man again?
What do you think? Get drunk, woo one of the local wenches, and wake up in the morning with no hose and a head like a church bell.
Have you perchance forgotten we're supposed to be deciding the future of the kingdom here?
I'll leave that to the older and wiser. And duller.
Who's that French fellow you brought here from Malashov?
The great Baron Brabant. Been everywhere, knows everything, and has the keys to half the kingdom. He's got more fairy tales than my old nanny.
Can he be trusted?
He's a blabbermouth, but a harmless one. Besides, he defended Kuttenberg, and you know how that went. If he were on Sigismund's side, he'd hardly have been locked up with me.
Do you know any of the guests here?
Most of them I'm seeing for the first time in my life. It's a pretty varied company. We've had bandits, nobles, burghers, a priest, and even a rabbi coming together here. It's like the start of some joke.
Wait a moment. Rabbi, you say? The Kuttenberg rabbi?
Yeah. He came with a retinue. But for now, they're keeping mostly to themselves. Maybe you should go and welcome some of them. After all, this used to be your home. And you're a spiritual man too, so you should have something in common.
I wouldn't be too sure. But I suppose I can try.
Aye. Lots of people.
Dear me.
I'd rather creep off into some corner with a full wineskin. But I suppose I'll have to introduce myself to the rest of the guests, eh?
Indeed you should. After all, you are one of the lords of Rabosh.
Oh, don't start with that. I'd like to steer clear of the old man as long as I can.
In that case, you should sound out Radzig and
Babas
and
pusuda
find
da
out
vardı
what they're
ilk yarıda.
actually
Hatırlarsınız. Aha. Bak size buna geldi.
God bless. Jesus Christ be...
Öğrendim.
Such rare guests. One wouldn't expect to find among Christians representatives of your community. I'm Godwin. My greetings to you.
Peace be with you. Neither would one expect a priest here. And yet...
How do you know I'm a priest?
It's not difficult to tell. After all, we have much in common. And we are both a little on unfamiliar ground here. I'm Yehuda, leader of the rabbinical court in the sacred community of Gutenberg. And this is Samuel, my aide.
Who would rather not be here at all. Why did we have to come here, Sadie? Can you not see everyone is staring at us?
Because we all need to help each other in this time of need. And why would they not stare when you are frowning so?
Are you looking for friends among us?
Let us say rather that we have chosen a side. The situation in the town and the kingdom is unsustainable. The whole land is on the brink of destruction. You have men and weapons. We have the means to sustain them.
Why are you telling this to a Koimer? You wanted to deliver what we brought to the Margrave and quickly leave.
Everything in good time, Samuel. We have just arrived, after all.
Did you come to lend money to the lords?
Not to lend, but to give. Help given to the needy is repaid only by God.
You don't even know if you can trust them. With that money, we could have paid mercenaries ourselves.
You remind me of my young friend Henry. He's a bit of a hothead too.
Henry? That messenger of Radzig Copula?
You know each other. You're both around the same age.
That would be him. But we did not get off to a very good start.
I reckon the two of you would hit it off. He's reliable and has his heart in the right place. For a young stripling, he's been through plenty. It's not so long since his parents were killed in Skalitz. He was supposed to become a blacksmith, and instead, he's roaming the world, risking his neck at every turn.
Wait, a blacksmith, you say? From Skalitz?
Aye, that's right. Did you know anyone there?
I knew of someone. A blacksmith by the name of Martin.
My daughter knew him most, and that is why Samuel is in this world. For our numerous sins.
Maybe he was my father, but he certainly didn't act like one. Ma raised me on her own.
And that was all for the best.
Why? He should have taken care of me, but instead he fathered another bastard.
Don't make hasty judgments. As far as I know, Martin didn't have any other children. At least, none of his own. He took in Henry and raised him as his own, on the orders of the Lord of Skalitz, Sir Radzig Kobyla, Henry's real father.
I don't care if he took care of 20 other mamsels.
That boy's blood father denied him, just like yours did to you.
A person can't choose their parents. And Henry only found out about it recently.
Enough. I'd rather have a drink. Will you have one too, Zayde?
For that, there will be more suitable times.
Good health.
L'chaim.
Güzel. Bununla da konuştum. İsimler böyle hani hahammış. Ben hamam bir okumuşum. Şimdi kim kaldı abi, onu bulmamız lazım. Şu. Kızlar oyunun orada bu. Aa, buradaymış ya.
Good health to you, sir. I'm Godwin, a friend of that lad you arrived with, Henry. We don't know each other.
Baron Vauquelin-Brabant, Chevalier d'Arrêt.
Ha, bu tamam.
The last
Fransız.
of my line. I am a warrior, a traveler, a strategist, and also, à ma manière, a poet.
My word.
Unutmasam bulurdum.
Isn't that exhausting?
Mais non! And I'm glad to meet a new friend.
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Baron. I knew right away we'd hit it off.
Dear friends and allies, in these troublesome times, you all know why we're here. The question remains, what to do next? Sigismund is facing troubles in Hungary, and here too he is up against resistance. He's a capable strategist, but a poor diplomat. Mark my words. If we wait him out until winter, he will leave of his own accord.
By winter, he'll have torched all our fortresses and carried off everything that we possess.
Are we seriously gonna wait and cower in a corner? Or are we gonna drive them out in shame? A few well-planned raids and we could have him in our fists!
At what price? Have you got men to spare? Has any of you got men and money to spare?
We don't have men out there.
Yes, we do.
We do not.
Jobst is right. That horse son won't fall easily.
Only we can't wait.
Are we to get ourselves killed?
Or end with nothing?
I'm not going to die.
Friends, we'll get nowhere like this. Let's adjourn ourselves and try to think it through.
Well, that went just as expected. Good health.
And to yours. Could it have gone any other way when there's so many of us here?
I would have expected a bit more sense from Jobst, of all people. He made an amateur's mistake. But it's hard to be angry with him when he's trying to ingratiate himself with everyone. By the way, I'm John of Liechtenstein. And you must be Godwin, the son of...
That's not a thing I've ever boasted of. How do you know that?
I have my sources. From what I've heard about you, I'd judge you could be quite useful to me at today's gathering.
Is that so?
Indeed. And that's why I'd like to ask something of you.
It depends what it's all about.
A little delicate diplomacy. I expect we can agree that Jobst's plan has certain shortcomings?
That's a weak word.
And the way it stands at the moment, he'll never get the support of the council. But I have an idea how to change that.
Well, I'm curious how you hope to shut Zizka up and satisfy the ones who want peace.
We'll sit and wait quietly until Sigismund withdraws of his own volition, as Jobst proposes, but we'll be waiting in the military camp of our huge new army.
When Sigismund sees that, he'll be off to Hungary all the sooner. At a gallop.
Exactly. Sigismund's army is demoralized and weakened. And besides, he's running out of resources. He's able to tackle fortresses that aren't able to defend themselves. But he won't engage an equal force on the battlefield.
But he can't retreat either. That would be a disgrace.
And that's exactly why we'll wait until he's called back to Hungary by events there. For the plan to work, we need allies, their money and their determination. We've already set the ground for it. We just need negotiators who will push the right people in the right direction.
Are you saying you set everything in motion even before Jobst?
More like in parallel, but without his knowledge. If we
Bir tane
find support
adamı
to make it
yönlendiriyoruz
look like
demek
the
ki.
whole
Hem
thing
bu
was his idea,
rahibi hem
we'll
Henry.
all win.
Why are you doing all this anyway?
Because I want to put a stop to the senseless deaths. And also because I'm happier with Wenceslas on the Bohemian throne.
I'll help you. What exactly should I do?
I'll give you 3 names. Botchek of Kunstadt, Haman Alder, and Anna of Waldstein. If you can get those 3 on our side, we've won the day.
Ama da tabii görevini yapacağız. Onlar da tamam diyecek, gelecek. Öyledir bence.
What if it doesn't work?
I refuse to even consider that outcome. Because it would mean slow, but certain defeat for all of us.
Why me, of all people?
Because you've got a head on your shoulders. You know how to talk, and you're not just out for your own good. You and your friend Henry are similar in that respect. That's why I know I can count on you both. There aren't many like you two left.
Tell me a bit more about those people, so I know who I'm dealing with.
Certainly. Who do you want to start with?
Botchek of Kunststadt. I know the name, but I can't quite place him.
That's just the thing. He's got massive estates, great influence, but he holds back. He doesn't play the big game, because he doesn't like to take risks. He always goes for the sure thing. But once he's made his mind up, not even a pair of oxen will hold him back.
Alder the Alderman. Wasn't he a Kuttenberg councillor?
He still is. The only one who retained his position after the city was taken. Only he's here, instead of cozying up with Sigismund in Kuttenberg. So his days in the council are numbered. But he'll continue to have a strong influence on the guilds and the rich burghers. And that's why we need him.
Anna of Waldstein. The widow of that rich mine owner. What was his name?
Wenzel Bartosz. And I'm not surprised you forgot.
I was quite surprised to see her here. Assemblies like this are more of a...
A male affair? So far, Godwin, so far. Anna is holding back and behaving like an exemplary young widow. But don't trust appearances. She's got claws, she knows how to do her sums, and she certainly has no love lost for Sigismund.
And what use can she be to us? Apart from her late husband's money, of course.
She's as sharp as they come when it comes to trade. And she knows a thing or two about diplomacy. There are wicked tongues that claim Bartosz acquired most of his wealth thanks to her. And that it was thanks to her that he died, too.
I'll get on it then. Wish me luck.
I wish us both luck. Before the day is over, the die will be cast.
Success to our plans.
Gündemi saklanıyor, ne yapıyor? Bak dedi, bunlardan hep herhalde bileği mi içeceğiz? Ha.
I'll tell you, nobody has the likes of these.
Not even Bocek?
Not even Bocek.
Bir dakika lan, borç çekmiyor.
He's a great lord.
That's hard to believe.
Bu da
I'd like
burada.
to check your horses out and see if they're as good as you say.
Pah, even better. But you won't believe it until you see for yourself.
And you might not believe your eyes when you do see them. Well, well, we have a new guest. I wanted to...
You wanted to apologize for crashing into my home without it by your leave. Or to arrest my guests some more?
Dur abim ya. Güzel güzel konuşacaktık. Ne hemen şey yapıyorsun?
I
Sert
want to have a
yapıyorsun.
word with Older.
Well, I'm having a word with you.
I apologize, Father.
For interrupting our conversation?
What
Or
was-
just for being you?
Is that your...
Unfortunately. Speak up then. What are you doing here?
I came with a delegation from Sir Hanush of Lipa.
Is this a joke?
Why so strict, Martin?
20 years ago, he was nothing but a cheeky brat, only interested in wenches and booze. I got him a place at the Archbishopric to have some sense beaten into his head. Only it wasn't long before they kicked him out. And then I find out he's settled in some backwater parish in Sassau. But he took his boozing and whoring along with him, lost everything, and then came creeping home again. Huh?
Try saying it again a little louder. They might not have heard you in the outer courtyard.
You have the impertinence to show me your face after the way you disgraced our whole family?
I wouldn't set foot here if I had a choice. Better to be a priest in some backwater than have a father like you.
How dare you?
You're as shit a father as I am a son. We've got nothing to blame each other for. And now let me speak to Older.
You're dishonoring your host.
I can't dishonor someone who has no honor. If you had any, you'd be...
That's enough!
Christopher.
You won't get away with those insults. I challenge you to a duel.
Acayip uyuyor.
I'm not happy about it, but I accept. This isn't how I imagined my first meeting with my brother.
Belki bunu yenersem hani en
Make
üst
room
tatlıya
for us.
bağlanır.
We'll just settle.
Arm lower!
Not bad for a
Swing
priest.
with your whole arm, not just your wrist!
You're fast.
Gel bakalım.
Not bad for a priest.
What's wrong with your legs? Look in my eyes, not at my sword. Cover your right side. You've got a gap there I could drive a cart.
My God. Where did you learn to wield a sword like that? Father
Zorlamadım
always said you
bile.
were a good-for-nothing boozer. But you could teach sword fighting in a school.
I was in a war. Right after they kicked me out of the Archbishopric. And you ought to know yourself. Not all the faults that Father sees are real.
Aye. Well, I apologize for going off like that. I had to, so that...
Neden yapmak
So
zorundaydın?
Father would be satisfied. I know. Only he'll never be satisfied. The sooner you realize that, the better.
I thought he was the way he was because his first son let him down. And he hoped at least his second would become something.
And no luck again, eh? When I was 6 years old, I fell off a horse and broke my leg. He wouldn't talk to me for a week because I'd let him down.
The first time he took me hunting, he let me starve for 3 days until I was able to shoot my first hare.
Only 3 days. He got soft.
I always wondered who you were. There was never much talk about you at home.
Look, I really did fuck up everything I could. I brawled and boozed until they threw me out of my own parish. But now, I have a chance to put things to rights a little.
And that's why you want to talk to Older.
I've got to get him on our side and to cooperate with us.
Aren't we all on the same side?
Maybe everyone's saying that. But it's time to put it into action.
After your encounter with Father, it won't be easy to get to Alder. Actually, I don't think you should even attempt it. Unless you want to anger Father even more.
What else can I do, though?
I'll talk to him myself. He'll hear me out for sure. But
Sana
you'll
olursa
have to
anlat.
trust me. And tell me what it's all about.
All right, then. You've heard Yob's plan, right? It's a nice idea, but we can't wait around without an army to back us up.
Only no one's going to pay for one, because that would be an outright admission of rebelling against Sigismund.
Alder's got some clout with the councillors and burghers who are loyal to Sigismund. If he agrees, they'll follow.
Büyük savaşa
I
hazırlanıyoruz herhalde.
expect
Baksana.
Alder's not the only one
Her
you're
şey onun
after.
hazırlığı.
You got that right.
Leave Alder to me. The plan sounds sensible, and he's no fool.
I
Yeah.
don't know how to thank you.
You can drag me to a tavern sometime. Pa doesn't need to know about it.
You're starting
İyi
to
senin
sound
iyi
like a
anlaştık.
brother.
Güzel güzel. Adamsın. Şimdi kolayca hallettik. Kim kaldı? Nereye? Boçek.
Patricians and usurers.
Heh, o da buraymış. Çok güzel. Burada.
I need to speak with you for a moment.
A man hardly puts his cup to his lips and someone comes along to put a flea in his ear. Yobs comes up with a plan as full of holes as a beggar's shoes, and now you're all jostling to win me over for him.
On the contrary, I've come here with an idea how to improve it.
Does that improvement include a few thousand men at arms? If not, you can go to the devil with it.
A few thousand men at arms as a convincing argument. And 100 horsemen on top. Only in order to get them, we need coin.
You've got my attention, but not my money yet.
Are we not on the same side?
We are, but an alliance is of no use if it doesn't also guarantee safety.
Of course. Once it comes to protecting property, ideals go out the window.
You can talk, since you haven't got a pot to piss in yourself. If you were in my position, you'd think differently. I have a lot of property, lots of subjects to look after, and along with that, the Lord blessed me with a large family. I can't risk it all in a conflict with Sigismund.
So you need guarantees that you won't be left standing in the cold if you openly oppose Sigismund.
My guarantee is called Yitka. She's my niece. If I succeeded in marrying her off to another strong house, I'll have the certainty that I won't be left alone.
Maybe it's enough to find a suitable groom among the allies.
Perhaps someone of suitable standing who Yitka would also gladly accept. I don't want her to be unhappy.
Aynen. Bizim Caponu ayarlayalım.
He's a youngster still.
He may be young, but he's got something between his ears. He's got battle experience. And when he gets the estate that's his by right, he'll be well secured for life.
If he gets it. Right now, Hanush lords over Rattay and seems quite happy with that state of affairs. On the
Caponu
other
ayarlayalım. Aynen. Hadi
the
lan
lords
kabul et.
of Lipa have a good reputation, and Hanush can always be relied on despite his temper. Maybe it's not such a bad idea.
Heh böyle.
I'll convey your offer to Lord Caponu. If he agrees, we can celebrate our alliance.
I don't care what the young lord thinks. Hanush is the one to decide. If he agrees, I'll be happy to support your plan.
Pushing a friend to tie the knot to save the kingdom. Things have come to a pretty pass.
The kingdom will not forget his sacrifice. Now stop dilly-dallying.
Ama bana
and
şöyle
go
gidelim.
tell
Hanuş.
Hanush.
Hanuş, Hanuş. Boçek'ten. Aa. Yine mi Boçek'e gidiyor? Bir dakika bakayım. Aynen. Boçek burada değil lan, bir dakika.
Sir Hanush, I bring happy tidings.
You do?
Let's hear it then.
Sonra bir kazandı.
Young Lord Capon is going to get married.
If he's got some impoverished noble's daughter pregnant, I'll have his hide. I'm not going to support some
Adamlar olmadan neler
You
açıklar.
misunderstood my meaning. I was the one who arranged the betrothal. I mean, with your blessing.
You arranged a marriage for my ward? Just like that? With who?
With the niece of Sir Bocek, Lord of Kunstadt. Her name's Yidka.
Bocek of Kunstadt?
Aynen hadi kabul et.
Bocek of
Sen
Kunstadt?
evet dersen her şey olur hadi.
Godwin, you conniving old bastard!
Oh, fuck.
I don't believe it.
Mutlu oldu.
So, young Hans is to marry Kunstadt's daughter?
Niece.
If you're serious,
Evet,
I'll
niece.
make sure that you get the Rattay parish.
Or you could make me the abbot of Sassa. Or what about a bishopric?
Forget it. Soon I'll be paying for a wedding.
Ah,
Got a
kötü
word
oldu.
to Hans. I want to tell him myself. But let's drink to it, shall we?
Cheers.
Cheers to you.
Hadi bakalım. Bunu da kabul ettik. Çok güzel. Müttefik için hani aracı olmasın diye söylemek istemedim. Bir an aklıma öyle geldi. Kapın yüzünü güldürelim. Adam çok çekti. Boçe'ye gidelim şimdi. Boçek.
Look at that. A nightingale surrounded by hawks.
O burada değil de üst kattaydı değil mi? Dur. Ha burada bir yerdeydi. Dur şu muydu? Ha.
Sir Bocek, your niece Yidka can start preparing for her wedding.
So Hanush agreed, without reservations.
Indeed.
Then I will fulfill my end of the bargain without reservation.
Thank you, Lord of
Güzel.
Kunstadt.
Aslıya bu arada. Hani ben de sandım ki bunları bulacağız. Hani görev verecek. Öyle anlaşma yapacağız.
Cheers to the beautiful lady
İçelim tabii.
Yidka and the unhappy Lord Capon.
Here's to a good bargain.
Caponu iyi ayarladık ha. Caponu'yu sevindirelim ya. Ne yapıyorsun? Destek var.
God be with you, noble lady. There's something I'd like to ask of you.
God be with you. What would that be?
Your diplomatic support. And your money.
No beating around the bush, eh? I like that. But what do you want my money for?
Margrave Yob's plan has some gaps, milady. We need to gather enough resources to...
To muster an army that Margrave can't afford on his own?
Christ. Be praised. You're astute.
I should say so. All sorts of people have their eyes on my money, and divining their intentions is a necessity. Although, between the two of us, it isn't hard to figure out what Liechtenstein is after.
How do you know Liechtenstein is behind it?
I know most of the people here very well. Many of them certainly have doubts about the Margrave's plans. But they wouldn't dream of stating them aloud. While it seems that Lord Liechtenstein, on the contrary, sees his opportunity.
I'd say you have a better nose for people than most of this crowd.
Not only for people, but also for good food and wine. And beneficial deals.
Then you're in the right place. This occasion provides all of those things.
The wine here is average. The cooks lack imagination. And I have yet to hear any interesting offers. So, to the point. What is it that Liechtenstein wants from me?
Nothing more than support and resources for an army to parley more effectively with Sigismund.
Nothing more?
Kolumuz bayağı zengin.
I'd say that's plenty. And why ask me for help? Why should I, of all people, take the risk?
It's not only your money we're interested in. You're well able to negotiate and trade. And if you were to take part in our plan...
Then I'd be helpful to you on 2 fronts. If you want me to support you, you must give me a good reason. Perhaps a favor in return.
Do you have something in particular in mind?
Well, one of the guests here has something that shouldn't get into the wrong hands.
Who's that?
Harmon Alder. Now, if you were to switch these papers for the ones he brought with him, I would support your proposal.
All right, I'll help you. Or at least I'll give it a try.
Alder will surely have the papers in his saddlebags, which he left in the shed on the outer courtyard. Bring them to me, and put these there instead.
Tamamdır.
But watch yourself. Odorin's groom
Süper
has
oyun
eyes
ya.
everywhere.
Süper.
Take a look at that. A nightingale surrounded by water.
What brings you here? Don't you want to leave all? My goodness, friend. You're completely sloshed. Well, are you going? Away with you!
Tamam abi. Buraymış.
That's it. Go now, army. He caused us a shitload of trouble.
I've got those papers from Alder for you.
Quiet!
Alien şartı neden yapıyorsun abim sen anlatılan?
With all the clamor going on here, I can hardly hear my own thoughts. Here they are.
You're more capable than I expected.
Pek rica ederim. Her şey karşılıklı.
You're welcome. And now you're part of the bargain.
As agreed. I will support Liechtenstein's proposal with
Güzel.
both words
Bu işi de
and
tatlıya
money.
bağladık abi.
Thank you, noble lady. God will...
Yes, quite. But let's drink to our bargain.
Hadi içelim.
How could I refuse a toast with such a fine lady? To your health, Lady Anna.
And to the success of our efforts.
Gentlemen, I think we can raise our goblets to the successful conclusion of the negotiations.
Is this supposed to be your secret weapon?
Like I said, miracles happen where you least expect them. Tell me, Godwin of the House of Odorin, what news do you bring us?
I bring nothing from the House of Odorin. But the widow of Waldstein and Sir Bocek of Kunstad will support our cause.
Both of them? Good heavens, what did you promise them?
This is going to be a long story, and I could use a drink. So if you'll excuse me, my lords?
Doymadım be amma aşkışkın sen de Allah Allah. Aha. Beni dinleyin.
It would seem that we have all benefited from the break in these proceedings. New alliances have been formed. And I have also changed my plans. We shall still wait for Sigismund to withdraw his troops of his own accord. But we will wait with an army at our backs.
Yes! And how are we to raise an army? Wasn't it made clear at the meeting that no one wants to take the risk?
The only thing made clear was that each of us alone is weak, and that we could not find common ground. But that has now changed.
King Wenceslas is, by the will of God, the balbatim of all his subjects. Not only the Christians, our community, and not only ours, will give you coin.
Yes! The Kuttenberg houses are still loyal to King Wenceslaus, and we stand with Lord Ruthard.
And if that's not enough, the houses of Leipa and Kunstadt will unite and march side by side.
My niece, Yitka, will take young Lord Capon as her husband.
Kaçırdı kapı. Adam hayır de diyemedi. Yok evlenmem de diyemedi. Şaşırdı valla. Bakalım ne tepki verecek.
Lords Kunstadt, Hanush, Radzig, and I will set out immediately. God willing, we will be back within 3 weeks, along with an army.
Now those are words worthy of a nobleman.
My friend, I still believe that words are more powerful than swords. And our words will ring in 1,000 voices to the glory of King Wenceslas.
Ne oldu Caponu, şaşırdın mı? Kapıyı artık evlendirelim ya. Mutsuz olma. Heh, buraya döndük. Ama bu adam bizi nasıl tanımadı be garson olarak? Ama yüzümüzden de tanıdı. İlginç olan da o yani, değil mi?
After we conquered the city, you promised to restore order
Bekleyin oğlum,
immediately.
sizin
And
için
then I
planlar
find out
yapıldı.
things are even more disordered than before.
Your Majesty, we are sorry. We will put it to rights.
You've already said that. I want to hear real solutions.
We will put more guards on the roads and toughen penalties. We can have a few captured bandits executed as an example to others.
We do not care about bandits. We care about rebellious nobles and burghers. What will you do with them? How will you solve the chaos in the town administration, the rebellious miners, and the dismal yields? And how is it even possible that a rebellion against the king is smoldering here in the city?
What do you mean, sire?
I hear the resistance is coming from the Jewish quarter, from right under your noses. Why haven't you done anything?
We don't know who is behind this. Without evidence, we cannot punish them.
Otto von Berghoff did not ask questions in Prague either. He acted. And I advise you to do the same. Find a couple of wretches in a hole somewhere. Point them to the Jewish quarter and give them free rein. To do anything. The city's Jewish community was and still is on Wenceslas' side. They need a warning.
We do not even have enough men to...
Marquardt, could you spare a few men for a while?
Of course, sire. I'll assign them to Eric. He'll take care of it.
So you see, all you have to do is make sure the city rebel get their share. You could at least manage that, couldn't you? And if the thought should cross your minds that you would get rid of the debts to the Jewish moneylenders this way, forget about it. Your debts will remain, up to the last groschen. Only now you owe us directly. And while we are on the subject of money, has the yield from the mines finally matched last year's?
Sire, the deposits are dwindling, and mining is becoming increasingly difficult. And to make matters worse, the miners started rebelling.
Don't take us for a fool. They'll stop rebelling when you pay them proper wages.
Your Majesty, we can't do that.
Silence! How dare you oppose the kingdom's protector? You're a bunch of incompetent sycophants. Chicken shits. Not any better than the scum hiding in the forest.
And drunks! Give them hell! Lazy fools, the lot of them.
How dare you?
Some of you are even swelling right here in the city council meeting. This is unbelievable.
Remove this swillpot from the hall immediately.
I'm telling the truth. This whole council is a farce. The whole city knows it.
Lord of Sargents, your insolence just cost you your place on the council, and a month in the dungeon.
But...
Hopefully that'll be enough for him to sober up. And if not, put him in the pillory for a while, bailiff.
I'll see to it as soon as the council is over, Your Majesty.
All I hear from you over and over again are excuses and prevarication. And results? None. I therefore place the city council under the authority of Sir Marquardt von Aulitz, who is present here, with immediate effect. He will make sure you finally do your duty.
But, sire, that would be a violation of the privileges granted to us as a free mining town.
Silence! I am the only guarantor of your rights. You have to earn your privileges, not hide behind them. During my brother's reign, this idleness was perhaps tolerated. But that is over now. You were given a few simple tasks. But instead of working on them, you idled in the baths and lined your pockets. And let the traitors cast their nets undisturbed. But unlike my brother, I am capable of creating order. And I assure you, I do not distinguish between those who stand in my way. Be they beggars, noblemen, or city councillors. You have 2 weeks to restore order in the city and increase mining output. I want clear results, and you answer only to me and Sir Marquardt von Aulitz now. No one else. The council is dismissed. You, don't go anywhere, boy. Be so kind and remain here. Our throat has become rather dry. And we still wish to speak with our friend von Aulitz.
Yes, sire. As you wish, sire.
Between the two of us, Marquardt, was I not perhaps too harsh on them? And speak candidly. We have had enough of false flattery.
Sire, you were harsh, but rightfully so. These councillors, they need to be shown their...
Where are you going? Mind your own business.
Their insolence for far too long.
Hey, wait.
The same is true.
Keep your
Almamış.
We know.
Oh, so hungry I could eat a
Otto
horse.
repeated to us
No,
several
believe.
times that it is time to strike against them. We are glad he's not here. He would be intolerably self-satisfied if he knew we had heeded him.
Boy, can't you see the king's
Bakın
cup is
yere bak diyorum.
You tend to us as if we
Kral
were
bir şey söyleyeceğim.
infirm. Boy, pour us a monastic wine. The monks had a good year. We have concerns, friend. The Hungarians are rebelling. Our army is falling apart, and we have enemies here on all sides. Would we had a proper army instead of human mercenaries? They cannot be relied upon. And we are no closer to our goal now than a few months ago. Thank you. It is a good year. If our father were still alive, he would have been astonished by the mess
Babamızın
that
gününde
a few
katili
years
bu.
of Wenceslas'
Annemizin.
reign brought to us. With a single word, he would have put the nobility in their place, and the country would flourish. God grant him eternal glory.
We won't need much more time. We'll arrest the traitor Odorin, and the rest will fall in line.
You say the others will be brought into line, but what do you know of them? We know only a few of them. But there's a fortress standing on every damn hill here. What side are their lords on?
We'll find out soon enough.
I feel quite hungry.
If only Wenceslas were not such a stubborn ass, and relinquished that throne that he has no use for anyway. The nobility, on the other hand, found a ruler like him very useful. They made a puppet out of him.
Once you restore order, they'll join you. All you have to do is promise them the privileges they lost during Wenceslas' reign.
First, they'd have to be willing to make peace at least among themselves. Jobs does everything he can to sow chaos, so that he himself emerges victorious in the end. This business makes me thirsty. Pour me some of that red, boy.
I think Jobs is just waiting for the right moment. He'll switch sides when it suits him.
Maybe. But first I'll have to conquer a few more cities, and get a couple more lords on my side. Then they take the threat of war seriously. And Hungary. If Bohemia is a wasp nest, then Hungary is a viper's lair.
You will follow in his footsteps.
Ondan arasın arasızlık çok güzel. Tamam. Hepsini de şuradan basıyoruz. Üçü burada.
But the wine is good here. To your health, Margaret. And to your health too, boy. May your children grow in a land ruled by a good king.
Thank you, sire. You are too magnanimous.
Why? You did a good job. You can be proud of yourself.
To your health, your majesty.
First, we need to crack down on the biggest troublemakers.
We're working on it.
Düşman olmasadaki işte bak. Çalışanlarına hizmet yani değer veriyoruz. Güzel konuşuyoruz. Ama o kardeş, karşıdaki kardeş ana baba katili. Annemiz babamızı katili. Bu adamla çok yüz yüze geldik ya. Bizi nasıl tanımıyor? O ilginç abi.
But the devil knows there are a lot more strongholds to conquer here.
For the king, red wine.
No, we shall have white.
Tamam, beyaz.
We have had enough of red.
White it is. Quickly. If Reborge falls, others will follow.
I think von Berghoff's little contraption will find its use again.
If need be, we could use it to raise this town hall too. I have some suggestions for our candidates.
Çok eğlenceli bölüm.
It's a wondrous tool, but we can't rely on it forever.
To bring it here to the square and point it at the city hall? Those psychopaths will benefit from a war.
It's a splendid idea, but it won't be necessary. The councillors are quite fearful.
Yüzüne bakma falan diyordu kralın ya. Boşa demiş bak. Bakıyoruz hep yani bir şey olmuyor.
There's been enough fretting, sire. You shall see. Soon we will drink to the conquest of another fortress.
You are right. So then, to victory. And you, boy, will you drink with us? So that you shall have something to tell your children and grandchildren.
No, sire. It would be inappropriate for me to drink with you. I apologize.
As you wish. To your health, Marquardt. And to our upcoming victory.
Bizim mi yapılıyor? Ne oluyor? Kapıyı evlendirdik ya. Kapı. Aynen bak.
I sure did. Wojciech made sure everyone heard.
Meum est propositum in taberna morum.
Carrying the roast
piglet.
Tamam. Tamam bunlar.
Are you in need of something, my well-oiled friend?
I'd like to drink a toast with you to our joint success. As they say, all's well that ends well. So, to brighter tomorrows.
Touching.
Come now. What's become of your poetic soul?
I never had one.
Truly? Not even a little?
Not a bit. I'm just a cynical old pragmatist.
In that case, in quite simple and pragmatic terms, the wine has run out.
Fuck. I've got a tongue like a slice of weak old bread after all that gabbing.
Well, get something wet for us then.
His lordship is so unsteady on his legs, he can't make it as far as the keg.
To hell with that keg slop. Your father surely has something better stored away. I had my eye on him all evening. He had pictures brought from somewhere for himself and his closest friends, and left the rest of us to drink cheap dregs. Try and find one of those pictures for us, eh? I'm sure you can manage that.
You can bet on it. I've got a nose for booze.
I don't doubt it. Get sniffing quick.